Well, good morning everybody. Bright and early here at Spa-Francorchamps once again, this time for qualifying 2 and Group B getting us underway this time. Of course, we saw plenty of action yesterday and certainly Tim Tramnitz back again at the top. And he's getting a little bit used to it too after setting the fastest times in the morning test in certainly Wednesday. We came then yesterday where he once again did exactly the same in collective test 2. And following that of Rafael Camara's fastest lap in collective test 1. He would then go on to take P1 in qualifying and surpassing all the groups, becoming the fastest man between both Group A and Group B, and therefore he now holds on to pole position with his group forming in behind him when we go racing tomorrow. That of course deciding Saturday's morning race. This qualifying session though in particular will decide the race later today. So naturally now we'll see Group B head out, obviously roles reversed as opposed to what we saw in qualifying yesterday. Obviously with Group A getting us underway. This time it's all down to Group B to get us started here in qualifying, and we'll go through that group order as well. Andrea Kimi Antonelli, he'll be one of the drivers as part of this contingent with Tim Tramnitz as well, the man who set the fastest lap yesterday. Joshua Duvek as well in this lineup. Matteo Capietto, Sami Megatuniv, Michael Belov, Victor Bernier, Delano Van Hoff, Roman Belinsky, Levente Ravesh, Owen Tangavelu, Maya Weyug as well, Alexander Partyshev and Emerson Fittipaldi Jr., Adam Fitzgerald, Giovanni Maschio and Hadrian David, the wild card for ART this weekend. We alluded to him a little bit yesterday, of course, a former race winner in Freca as well in Formula Regional European Championship, and he's back again this time as the wildcard entry for ART. Great to have him back as well as part of this championship. A tenacious character, a winner at Monaco last year as well, and also a winner at Hungaroring and Red Bull Ring in 2022 with our race GP, and in fact finished P2 at Spa last year in race 2, which is of course this year going to come up tomorrow. But as you can already see, the cars getting themselves ready to go. Here at Spa-Francorchamps, we witnessed some rain late last night, so whether that will cause any concern, certainly for the drivers in terms of track conditions, we will have to wait and see. Obviously, it has had ample time to dry up. The sun is out, and by the looks of the skies, as I look out of my commentary box, there is vastly more brighter shades of blue to be seen out in the sky, but there is still scattered clouds everywhere. Not quite as grey as yesterday, but they are still there. As we now pan the pictures across and have a look at this very picturesque view from the woods, the forests of Stavelot here in the Ardennes forest. No better setting here to go racing than here at Spa-Francorchamps, a circuit that has graced many with some of the best in the world, some of the legends that have also raced around this track. Broke ground back on the 24th of February 1989, opening up on August of 1921. 20 corners await the drivers here for this second session of qualifying. Of course, many of the drivers as well having to combat issues out on track. We did see briefly a steward's note come through against Joshua Dirksen heading through the Jochenrink curve. It was then taken back, and of course losing out the time that would have garnered him a P3 in yesterday's session. He went down to P5 just briefly, but the stewards reversing the decision and therefore deeming that it was a valid lap. So he does regain that P3. So great news for the Paraguayan heading into this one. Not so much good luck certainly for Marcus Armand, of course, the man who is part of the Sauber Driver Academy. He sustained a 2-place grid penalty after impeding a faster car, that being Matthias Zagazzetta, through turn 19 at bus stop. We of course saw many cars getting a little tied up through that final sector as well, but it's now all up to the drivers this time around. A new fresh day, the spectators out in force as well. It's a very, very busy weekend. The paddocks are full. Obviously we've got the Formula 1 paddock, that is currently chock-a-block as well, and then further back as well, more cars packed with cars for the 24-hour of Spa, and not to mention the Freca paddock, which is further down and in amongst that of the Blanchimont section. So every ounce of the circuit being utilised here this weekend, and there you can see the Formula Regional cars currently sat in the pit lane getting ready to go out for the start of this session. Now the timer is ticking downwards as we speak. We are into the within 50 minutes, and race control have deemed it a wet track. So going back to what I was saying with the rain last night, it has played a factor certainly as far as race control are concerned. So they have deemed it a wet track here today. So it certainly won't necessarily be the grip levels that we saw from yesterday's sessions. And we might not necessarily see the 215s that we witnessed yesterday as well. So more onus on the drivers now to manage the situation. There you can see the damp patches as well. They're very clearly on show, and that's at Eau Rouge and Rayon. Now, while this has been extended, this part of the circuit, it has obviously seen many changes here at Spa. It's still a very, very fast section of track, and naturally when you take that set you off. So again, the drivers still have to manage that very fact as well. And now you can see them making their way out onto the circuit. There is the MP Motorsport cars, of course. All three of them will be part of this particular session. Let's see how they get on as well. All of them will be looking to try and gain something positive, of course, being that of Sami Megatuniv, Delano Van 't Hoff, and that of Victor Bernier. There you can see them now making their way out of the pit escape, heading up towards the Kemmel Straight and towards Les Combes. So, who's it going to be? Obviously, there you can see the drivers already warming up the tyres. Very conscious of the fact that they need to try and get as much stickiness onto the compounds as possible, onto this Pirelli rubber. Pirelli rubber, of course, representing right through the weekend. So after speaking to the drivers on the way in after the collective test, they've said that it's not too difficult to manage given the fact that it's the same manufacturer pretty much across the board here this weekend. So no concerns in terms of cross-matching rubber out on track. So let's wait and see who comes out on top. There is, of course, the two Trident cars making their way through. We now see more and more of them make their way through towards the Les Combes section. RPM also looking for another strong run. Santiago Ramos, the feel-good factor in Group A yesterday, the fastest man in his group, and was certainly very much a prominent force after coming back off the return of Hungaroring, obviously, where they picked up 2 P3s during that race weekend. And again, we're seeing a consistent theme, battling for track space. No one keen to certainly spread out and fan out, shall we say, and find that clean air. There's Tim Tramnitz, of course, as part of RaceGP, the man who would go fastest yesterday, and will be on pole position for Saturday morning's race as well. Already a race winner this season as well, Tim Tramnitz. 2 wins at Barcelona after keeping Andrea Kimi Antonelli at bay as well. And, no doubt we'll look to try and galvanise yet another strong performance for RaceGP. As we alluded to as well, last season he was with the Trident team, partnering with the likes of Roman Belinsky. He was also in this session as well, but has now since chosen to adopt the RaceGP car this season that has certainly had oodles amount